Guess what, guys?
What?
I got Twitter banned.
Oh yeah.
You got Twitter banned? On your Twitter or our Twitter?
My Twitter. I've been playing with Twitter. I think I'm experiencing the same thing Murr did when we started this, and he was like, "I'm just going to dive into Twitter," because I made that decision like a week ago, and I was like, "I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to dive fucking right in the deep end." And really, it's been a lot of soccer talk, and like just random sports talk on the middle class holes. I think I was getting on somebody about like Ray Lewis being a good linebacker. That might have been on Instagram, but either way, I've been using our platforms and my platform just to, just stir some pots. So I got myself into a little hot water because I came across a tweet by one young congressman, Matty Cawthorn from the great state of North Carolina. And it was something regarding like, how dare the Capitol Police be mandated to get vaccinated? These heroes were on the front lines on January 6th that this little cocksucker instigated, saying there would be bloodshed hours beforehand. So I got a little angry, and I said that I hope somebody in D.C. kicks him over in his wheelchair, and Twitter was not.
Wait, so okay, hold on. You basically threatened the disabled man?
Yeah, he pulled a.
Yes. I did not. I said I hope somebody does because I'm not dumb enough to do the direct threat.
Hold on. I just want to point out the irony here, Alan.
Oh, now I know.
The man who you're claiming instigated violence had violence instigated upon.
No, I think it fits. I think it fits though. And I forgot.
Okay.
So I totally
fair
get
enough.
But my rage overcame me. So yeah, that's how I started the week, guys. I think that was like a couple days ago. I actually meant to message the group of us, but I messaged Wes.
Right. I said it.
His photo dominates both.
I said he was trying to instigate someone to be Walter from Big Lebowski. But I've seen a lot of cripbles in my day, dude. He's faking it. This fucker can walk. That's what he's trying to do.
He's faking it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's just the straw that broke the camel's back in a long,
right?
Like litany. There's a long list of discrepancies from the young congressman that I just want to punch him in his face for.
Yeah,
but he's a crippled guy, so like you can't do that, right?
No, I disagree. I disagree. I just want to say we live in the world of equality. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, if you walk with those weird forearm crutches. It doesn't matter. You have the right to have your ass kicked. So I agree with mine. However, I'm perfectly okay when two grown gentlemen are in an argumentative situation and there's threats of violence that they should be those violent threats. They should go towards the crippled, the handicapped. It's like the what's the saying on the Statue of Liberty? It should end with all deserve to have their ass kicked at one time or another. Yeah. Bring us you're tired, you're weak, you're sick, or you're poor.
Equal opportunity.
So, Alan, go ahead and spell out the discrepancies that you have with this young congressman. 26, by the way, and I will say, love a person or hate a person. I think that's impressive that you're 26 and you managed to lobby and get yourself into the House one way or another. You 25, and I mean a year later he's the youngest congressman, I believe, in the House of Representatives. But go ahead, don't sell the audience short. You rattled off a pretty good laundry list of things that I think the audience should hear.
I mean, all right. So, I mean, how much do we know about? Do you know about the guy fairly well?
No, I don't really.
I'll give you a short synopsis. So, young Matty, he's 25, 26 now, maybe. I don't know, 25 when he got elected. He's a privileged young man.
Except for the no legs
school
part. But yeah,
hold on. The no legs thing didn't come till he was like 19. That doesn't count. He had a long good stretch with some legs, and quite frankly, he does not deserve it. So.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's getting cut up. I'm sorry, we're gonna get banned from Facebook now.
I know, it's terrible. But anyway, so like Murr was saying, he was always he just seemed to be a little cocksucker. I was doing some research on him, but I'll set my opinion aside. He went to school with a Blake Meadows, one Mark Meadows, future White House chief of staff for President Trump, to high school with the young man. So his aspiration was to go to the Naval Academy. Mark Meadows, then congressman, sponsored his application to the Naval Academy, which was promptly not rubber stamped.
And with those legs, he'd be the anchor.
And so he wasn't crippled yet. He was not crippled until after high school when he went on spring break with a buddy of his. Him and his buddy start coming back from spring break. They're in Florida, hanging out, doing whatever it is they do. Come on back, do some crazy shit, most likely. Apparently, and this is all in depositions because there are lawsuits galore from this car crash that him and his buddy were in. His buddy crashed the car, fell asleep, and Madison was asleep in the passenger seat when this all happened. But after all of that happened, he went on to campaign, obviously. And during that campaign is where things get a little dicey. So he starts to lean on a lot of truths, I'll call them, to put into his campaign. He says that he got into the Naval Academy, but that opportunity was stolen from him because of his legs and the tragic car accident that he got into with his friend, who left him there to die. His best friend, his brother, left him there to die. All of that in the deposition came out as a lie, a big fat lie. His buddy pulled him from the wreckage, saved his life, got the authorities there. He was never accepted into the Naval Academy, so those legs wouldn't have got there, even if they were working. So, a lot of shit. He goes on to college. Obviously, after the car accident, he goes on to college. Lots of sexual misconduct allegations from students at his private Christian college. He said he used to have fun rides with him. He had a car outfitted for his hands, because he has no legs.
I thought he
had a car outfitted. He would take young ladies on fun rides. Yeah. Out to the woods and try to get handsy with them.
That's all he can get.
All that much. Yeah, they didn't like it all that much. So, like I said, laundry list of reasons to not like the guy. Ultimately, he ran. He won. He was sponsored by a conservative PAC, like half $500,000 into him to campaign, obviously, and
that's
he ran
the
away
last
with
time
it.
he ran.
Oh, God.
Sorry. I'm full of them, man. I can't help myself.
I'm good. I'm glad. I was excited because I had a feeling you would be on this.
Yeah.
It's like, as I was thinking about things, researching, I was like, man, so many good ones. So many good one-liners. But yes, that in the short synopsis is why I hate the fucker. And yeah, there you go.
And he also accused those who ransacked the Capitol on January 6th as crisis actors. He raised suspicion about those people being crisis actors. And to what I want to rebut is if he actually believed that or believes that, I don't know, maybe he did, maybe he's recanted that at some point. But if at one point he believed that, then why wouldn't he be lobbying for these people to still be in jail? You know what I mean? That they're crisis actors. They keep them in jail. They're criminals. That makes sense.
No, they're actually that's the hypocrisy of our friend Matty is that he actually now calls them political prisoners and says that they should be set free. So the crisis actors, political prisoners, kind of the same thing. If you're, but yeah, man, I mean, he's just good. You should check out his Twitter. It's pretty good. There's lots of good stuff on here. I'm taking a peek. Like
I think in the meantime, Murr has dug it up. You got it on your phone?
Look at this. Nothing screams for your health like denying patients organ transplants for not being vaccinated. It's like we give smokers lungs and we give fucking alcoholics new livers all the fucking time. That's how medicine works. Like the Twitter's just fucking. It's a light. I love it. I love this guy's Twitter. I'm a fan. I mean, not a fan, but I'm like a fan, kind of.
All congressmen, everyone in Congress is vaccinated. What is he lobbying for?
He's just saying that they shouldn't be mandated to have something done or lose their job. That shouldn't be the option. And I actually kind of agree with his general point. However, I feel like the laundry list of other activities that Alan has listed off, they're, kind of bring up the douchiness. He found that there is a large support from the QAnon community, and he has figured, all right, well, if I can keep them on my team, I've got at least, 3 or 4 million dumb twats who will pull the lever for me every single time. And Yeah, so I don't know if you're just going. He's a scummy politician. What do you want from him? Yeah, that's all he's got.
I just think, I mean that's really it. Aren't they all? Quite frankly, but to be so brazen about it, and the irony in so many of his tweets. Like I said, the one that broke the camel's back was him giving a shit about the Capitol Police. That he was like, there will be bloodshed if you don't overturn this election for our fucking God. Like, that one really killed me. After all of what I knew about him, that one really got me. And I was like, I hope somebody kicks you over. Like,
I thought the straw that broke the camel's back was that horrific car crash.
No, that was the feet on the dash, which also got me because in the deposition, his buddy's like, yeah, this asshole had his feet on the dash. And that's a pet peeve of mine as well. If you put your feet on the dash, I hope your fucking fibulas go through your eye socket. Don't do it. You fucks.
Actually, God, Jesus. That actually reminds me, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but there's a really good video of someone trying to scale the Capitol, and they get up. It's on the side and they fall, and you don't see them fall. You just see like they go out of picture frame. And me and Sarah were watching, and I said, "Good. I hope he shattered both of his ankles, and he has long-lasting problems for the rest of his fucking life." And she's like, "God, that was deep." That what you just said reminded me of how I sounded. Your fibulas through your eye sockets.
Well, I will say when this happened, I lost my mind downstairs in the living room a little bit. And I was like, God, he should be kicked over. I had to stop there for a second. He should be kicked over in his wheelchair. And Kelly was like, that's not okay. And I was like, oh, it is, though. Listen to my tirade. And then she was like, I mean, still not okay, but okay.
Well, at least, you can get on your soapbox for finally like a liberal getting, kicked off of Twitter for, going after a conservative. It's something we don't see very often. So well done. You're a unicorn in the Twitterverse. How long are you suspended for, or is it forever?
Well, it is awaiting appeal. So I don't know. Did you appeal anything ever when you were banned? Were you banned? Did you get yourself?
I got the Middle Classholes account banned for a time. I put up both a picture of Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, and I said, "Look, folks, here's like something like it's our first example of resting cunt face." Ooh. And I put both of them up there to kind of like equal out the blow.
Mm-hmm. But I remember this.
It doesn't matter, I guess, because there was a lady involved.
So I don't know however long it takes them to look at my appeal, but I will say that this is probably the cake or the cherry on top is that in my appeal, I was like, Twitter, don't act coy. You want to kick him over in his wheelchair too. So my appeal's probably not going to go well.
It'll go better. You did it. You did it.
I like how you addressed him as Twitter, comma, space.
Some young Indian boy in a call center who's going to read that appeal. All right, Sanjeev, I apologize, but you are now Twitter, and Twitter, don't be coy. You want to kick him over too.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I like to point. Okay, so he said there were crisis actors. I hate to go back to this a few times, but it always the hypocrisy in these conspiracies. So you have crisis actors. Go ahead.
He didn't even say just like it was just crisis actors on the rioting side. Mm-hmm. He also went so far as to say that some of the Capitol Police were crisis actors.
Right. That's my point. Like,
that's my point, and that's why I was like, "This son of a bitch." Like, sorry, go ahead.
But so crisis actor plant Capitol Police allow crisis actor fake MAGA Trump supporters to waltz into the man, makes my brain hurt just how controversial or how counteractive that is. But
I hate that I'm going to stand on this landmine and let Alan take pot shots at me, but I'm going to
roll into it. You got to roll into
it. I genuinely believe that they're. And I'm not sticking up. I'm not saying this guy was on to something, okay? I'm just saying I do believe there are probably some crisis actors at that January 6th. I'm not saying – I'm saying that to rile the crowd up. Like, I'm saying there was probably some folks from the other side that were, like, poking the bear like, oh, you guys ain't going to burst through that door. I mean, if you guys aren't pussies, you will and all. I feel like there are probably a gaggle, 24 of those types of folks there. Like George Soros type assholes are like, you guys won't go into the fucking speakers office and steal her mail, will ya? And then fucking here comes fucking Buffalo Boy just dancing through with his fucking Viking fucking club. Like, go get the goddamn mail. I do feel like that might be two things can be true at once.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do. Hold on, one second. I do think that there's a remote possibility there. I don't think it's improbable or implausible, but I also don't think they needed it because you had a 25-year-old child up on stage a few hours before going, there will be bloodshed if you don't give us our fucking electoral votes. So, I mean, I'm fair, but like I said, I don't think you needed it.
Yeah, I hope
Giuliani was sweating fucking hair club for men. Like, come on, man.
I hope personally that some sort of factual backing sheds light on what you just said, Murr, and it comes out that did happen. That way the world can see just how stupid these people are, that 24 plants came in there and riled these people up enough to go raid the Capitol. You're saying I won't? You dare me? You double dog dare? I'm going in. Here we go. Come on, Ted, let's go. Ha ha. I did. If that got them riled up to a point where they stormed the Capitol, then, oh man, I hope. I can only hope so.
And like my real question is, pot shots coming. So Murr, like, did the crisis actors bring the gallows, or did they send off a memo prior saying, "Hey guys, bring gallows because we might want to pretend to hang Mike Pence"?
It doesn't take a lot to rile a redneck up to bring a gallows to a political fight. Okay, I mean,
we saw the
gallows in my backyard, sir.
Well, by the way, the number one crisis actor in the world. You got to watch the QAnon docuseries on HBO Max, Q Into the Storm. Mm-hmm. Like that's your crisis. Have you guys seen any of this at all?
Yeah.
Oh, you did see it, Alan? The dad is like a fucking like just acid swallowing fucking lunatic, and the kid is some like Japanese anime porn Call of Duty just cyber geek. Like, yeah. I punch this stick with my fists, and the training is done when my knuckles bleed. Like, that's QAnon. That's the guy who made Q. End of story. And he riled up an entire segment of the American populace to go sack the Capitol. It's amazing. Now, so there's crisis. So technically, he's not wrong when he says crisis actors caused the January 6th riot.
Fair. That's a good Murr spin on it.
Thank you.
I'll allow it.
My point is though, if some sort of evidence surfaces that was in fact the case, and you take that back to the QAnon Trump supporting crowd and say like, hey, turns out that you all aren't free thinkers, and a couple dozen people went in there and got your fucking blood pressure boiling to a point where you committed a heinous crime. Like, no, hell no, they didn't do that. We did that on our own.
I think you're missing an opportunity here to be like, hey, MAGAs, you guys got herded like sheep into the fucking Capitol, like idiots.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Middle class holes, everyone. Tipping fucking congressmen's wheelchairs over one play at a time. What's his name? Matthew what?
North Carolina, the congressman, though.
You're right.
Madison Cawthorn is his name. I mean, he doesn't even sound fucking real, quite frankly.
God, he sounds like he's both from. He sounds like he's from both Connecticut and Kentucky at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at him, he's like this clean cut, real good looking, like blonde, sweat, like kind of swept over hair, like
handsome dude.
I mean, look, my man looks like he could come right off of my man looks like someone could carry him right off of a boat in fucking Martha's Vineyard. Now he doesn't really look 11th District of North Carolina, which I'm fairly certain is pretty rural.
Jesus, he looks like if Tom Brady and Tim Tebow were genetically fused together.
Yeah, he's a handsome dude,
but with no legs.
Yeah,
he's like the cop on a Family Guy.
Yeah, it's like
Joe?
Exactly like.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a follow up. We'll see when you get out of Twitter.
See how long you're banned.
Twitter jail.
I dive in for 3 days and I get myself banned.
That's right. So this story, first coming to you, was posted on the official Middle Classholes Facebook page. That's at the Middle Classholes. So, gentleman gets stuck in a traffic jam, calls 911 to tell the police this right here. Here comes the clip.
911, team police,
Hello.
fire, or ambulance.
Yeah, I need an ambulance, please.
You need the ambulance?
No, I need police.
Well, then why did you say you need ambulance?
I didn't say ambulance. I said I need police.
Okay, you have the police.
Yeah.
Where's the emergency?
Actually, the thing is that I have to pee, and these guys are not moving.
You have to pee.
Yeah.
This is your emergency that you have to pee?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how are the police going to help you urinate?
I have to pee, man. And
But I'm not sure what you'd like me to do that you have to urinate. I can't help you with that. I am disconnecting. Thanks. Bye.
That's quality stuff. Thank you, Murph, for posting that. Good find on that one. But yeah, so it's like, man, gotta take a piss. You know what? 911. He did sound a little disoriented. Didn't sound all that with it, but maybe he has a small bladder.
Indian. What do you want? He's Indian or Pakistani. I mean, they all sound disoriented.
Do you think? Oh God,
That's a good way to describe it, but that's also racist.
I can look. I always say this. I can't speak another language, and I'm sure my accent would sound rather ridiculous to those guys too if I called. I just think it's funny that the Indian guy had to call a call center for help and got nowhere.
Do you think maybe?
Pause.
Go ahead.
That 911 operator seemed very frustrated. It must have been the end of the shift because he was like, "What? Hello, fuck you want? You want ambulance? No, I want police. You said ambulance, motherfucker. Do you want ambulance or police? All right, that's it. I'm hanging up." Like he was very not pleased about that call. So very rude.
Yeah, I also wonder if the cultural divide with this one just had that's what he thought. The caller thought that's what I do. This is an emergency. I'm going to pee my pants. I'm stuck in a. He just simply didn't know. Hey, in case of emergency, you dial 911. Well, in his mind, hey, emergency is about to happen.
Here's the thing. That sounded like a man who has gotten a ticket written for peeing in public before. And he's out in public, and he's like, well, shit, I gotta pee. Last time I did this, trouble brewed, and I got tagged with something. So now, before the police come and arrest me for peeing, I'm going to call the police to let them know that I need to pee. And then he got nowhere. And again, cultural divide. He obviously is not native to that. I think it's Canadian, actually. So he's obviously not a native Canadian. I'm just assuming by the accent. If you want to consider that racist or not, Alan, I'll take that branding. But so he calls. But this comes back down. This comes back to, like, where are you supposed to pee when you don't have anywhere to pee? If you're willing to shoulder the embarrassment of your tiny Pakistani penis, then let it fly, right? Should that not be okay?
Well,
I don't know.
It's obvious this guy doesn't work for Amazon. We know that. We can wipe that clear. So, and two, I don't know. It's a bit presumptuous, that tiny Pakistani penis. Although there is some alliteration in there that I kind of like. Kind of rolls off the tongue pretty quickly. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I would have obviously just pissed, but I mean, I don't know if that's like, I might have pissed myself. Depends. I don't know. I probably would have just pulled over because I'm a guy and that's my natural inclination of things. But I understand what you're saying. Like, what if he got in trouble for that before?
But it was a traffic jam. They were lined up on the highway. They couldn't move. They couldn't go anywhere. So he just was like, I can't abandon my car and I got to take a leak. What do I do?
Well, see, I think we need a little bit more context because you say it's a traffic jam. Is it like slowly creeping, or that I can pull over, or is it dead stop? Because at that point, fuck it, we ain't moving. I'm going and pissing. I'll be back. We're not moving in the next minute.
I remember this situation happened to me on my cross country adventure, but we were moving at a slow 5 mile per hour creep. So it was like because I get what you're saying, Alan. Like, if we're at a dead stop, I just run over the side of the road, take care of business, come back to my car. But even at 5 miles an hour, that slow drift, if you just stop and get out, 30 seconds later, you've caused an extra quarter mile of a backup.
Right.
Yeah. No, that I get. But if you're moving at that 5 mile per hour, like crawl, then just pull over.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to be an asshole if you're not in the right-hand lane, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. You can throw that blinker on. The other thing, and I want to go back to what you said, Murr, that if that 5-mile-an-hour crawl is the case, that's going to take some handiwork to piss in a bottle. I mean, you gas brake, penis in presumably something that's big enough to, get your wiggler in there, or Gatorade, or...
Okay, all right. I got to clarify something, because as a master bottle pisser myself, everybody thinks you actually have to stick your wiener in the hole. You don't have to do this. You just simply... I don't know how giant your urethra is, okay? I don't know how big... I mean, some of you guys, I'm impressed if that's the case, but, you don't need much. Now, admittedly, the first squirt might be a little off target, but after that, once you dial it in, man, that's not really, you only need about the top of a...
I've pissed in a can before.
Yeah,
sure.
I
have. I just there's something about the mental comfort of knowing that you don't really have to aim. You just with the 20 ounces. Yeah, the mouthpiece of that is yes, perfect. But it's going to take some concentration. If you take the concentration out of it, you feel more comfortable.
I get it. Everybody likes the comfort of the wide mouth Gatorade bottle. You know what I mean? But you don't always got that at your disposal.
Sure. But say you're at the 5-mile-an-hour creep with what you just presented us with, a 20-ouncer. That's going to take some work. That's going to take
that's rough. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I say you throw it in neutral and see what happens. So that you're not really hitting it, but you should be rolling. And then worst is you have to stop to say, give me a little tap. A little tap from the car behind you. You'll be good.
I was experimenting the other day because I had to go and I had nowhere to go. And this particular vehicle that I was in happened to have a window. And so I tell you what, I've mastered a new position. You actually get down on your knees, okay? Mm-hmm. Unzip, unbutton, and then but I also didn't want to undo my belt. So I just undid the zipper and I came through the peekaboo window at the front of the underwear.
Okay.
And then everything was going fine until the underwear just slowly started to cinch back shut and kind of caused what I like to call the guillotine. So always keep 2 fingers to keep your portal wide, if you will. Just a word to the wise, or you might be calling the police you might be calling the ambulance instead of the police.
That
twisty balls.
Twisty balls. Yeah, there's a good. Have you ever seen this? This is Alan. You're a soccer fan. This here is DeMarcus Beasley, longtime USA midfield defender. So this is him pregame. Has to take a piss. I think it gets fuzzed out, but God dag nabbits. Oh yeah, he just pulls his pants to the side and voila.
I did that. Used to do that during injuries.
Yeah.
Take a knee. Outside.
That's yeah. Oh well. That's an impressive move right there.
Yeah.
But man, he's wearing some loose fitting undergarments for a soccer match. I'll tell you that. That's what I call the ball twister. You go in for a slide tackle, and all of a sudden you got your lefty on the righty.
The lefty on the righty. I will say
that's how you get twisty.
During a co-ed soccer game, I tried to pull that, but it was only one. It wasn't on the sideline like Mr. Beasley was doing, and 2, it was only because there was no porta pot or no public restroom or restroom in sight. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll just go behind this little it was like a park. I don't even know what it's the house planted in the middle of a park. That's all I'm going to say. And I pulled that, and one of our female teammates turned the corner on me. I was like, oh, hey, okay, turn around. Nothing to see here. There's a lot to see here, but nothing for you to see here. Get the fuck out. Oh,
have I told you the story? Our legal representative, we went to a bar in Newark, and we had to park behind the buildings, and he's like, oh man, I got to go before we hit the road, man. And he went over to this dumpster. Little did we know that the entrance to the apartment complex that we were parked behind had the door right next to the dumpster where he was taking a leak. And I just remember I was staring right at him, and you just saw like that change in light as the glass door opened, and he swivels around and he's staring right at me, cock in hand. He's, sorry, Murr. I was laughing too hard to make anything out because it was just the embarrassment. He couldn't stop the flow. He was literally pissing at the door when someone decided to walk out. It's probably one of the greatest friend moments of my entire life.
That's gutty. Well, on the opposite end of that, okay, so I won't name names because it would be straight up disrespectful. Both of you guys know this gentleman. He's going to an estate sale. All right. Long line to get in. And it's somewhere, some beautiful property like northern Baltimore County. It's supposed to be a lot of prized pieces there. And you guys are familiar with what an estate sale is, correct?
Yeah, somebody's getting foreclosed on. They're going to be selling the bank, selling it.
Dad in the family doesn't care. They'll just say like, sell it, and we'll make ends meet or whatever, or we'll make the profit or whatever. So he goes up there and he's in line and finally like gets I wouldn't say gets his number called, but it's his time to walk in, and all of a sudden it's like, oh God, I gotta take a poop. And so it's like muddling around. There's one bathroom, and it's on the main floor where there's probably a bunch of people walking around. And he's like, okay, if I do what I have to do in that bathroom, I'm gonna clear this house. This place, there's gonna be no one left, which may be a blessing and a curse because then I have my pick of the litter.
Or you devalue it to a purchasable price.
Right. So apparently he's like, I can't do that, and walks outside and starts putzing around. Mind you, it's not farmland, but it's a lot of property, and gets to a point where he just says like, "Wow, I'm a grown man. I'm going to poop my pants. This is unbelievable." Finally, he found some tall grass that he could pop a squat into, but I just thought it was he's coming to grips with like, "Yep, poop is gonna fill my boxer shorts today. This is going to be great."
And this all swivels right back around to why you end up calling 911 if you're a foreign national in a foreign land and you don't know what to do with your body function. Because we've all obviously experienced this situation and we don't know how to handle it. There needs to be I don't like written laws. It's not really in my DNA, but there needs to be some code of conduct for emergency bodily function situations that we can all abide by. I don't know, maybe you get a punch card. We've talked about this before. You get a punch card, and maybe twice a year, you get this cop comes up on you. Sir, here's my card. This is the first time it's happened this year. All right. Clicks it off. Sure. You go about your business.
Yeah, there's got to come with some strings attached to it. You can't be in certain places. You can't, you have to be...
You'd be on, like, playgrounds or,
right.
Schools. Yeah, but the certain places you're speaking of is when it's always the problem.
Find an alley, man. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, I don't agree with that law. Can't be a school playground.
Chaperone in the prom. That's when the squirts always come.
Speaking of the squirts, gentleman named Mike Busey, no relation to Gary Busey. This gentleman rented a helicopter, pulled his pants down, and took a dump on the world-famous Hollywood sign in Hollywood, California. So he starts by, again, renting it for the hour, pulling his pants down, taking a powerful spraying diarrhea poop on the Hollywood sign. The video can be found at his own website, mikebusey.com. And then a quote from Mr. Busey: I was tired of seeing Hollywood shit on America, so I thought it was time for someone to shit on Hollywood. I mean, this is Americana at its best, if you ask me. Maybe I'm biased. I just think like, hey, I can rent. God knows what it costs to rent a helicopter for an hour. I can't think it's much more than a couple $100. And then you bribe the pilot, say, hey man, hover over here. I'm gonna strap myself in. And this, by the way, if you look this guy up, he's fucking grotesque. He looks like the driver from House of a Thousand Corpses. That dude, and just takes over, pulls his pants down, and fucking plops again, powerfully spraying diarrhea poop all over the Hollywood sign. Not sure if that was planned. Maybe that was just coincidental that it was more loggy than diarrhea.
I think you take a laxative if you're. Yeah.
Oh, you know you're going to do that, so therefore you prep for the most disgusting.
Like 3 square meals of fucking Mexican food. With like maybe, like, I don't know, throw in a couple like egg rolls, just a Chinese dish of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, and then at takeoff, however, you'd down a bottle of what, like, was it sodium citrate or whatever, and just say, all right, we got about 15 minutes before it's the Hollywood sign or your helicopter, so you better get to moving.
Just destroy.
By the
I
way,
like it.
I might have to be hooked in at that like, yeah, I might have to hook in to lean over because the force of the poo coming out from something like that.
This is, by the
You know
way,
what I mean?
this is who you're looking at. This here's
yeah.
Looks like a guy who would poop on something.
Mike Busey. You can see the video in its entirety. Barstool blacked it out. I personally don't want to watch that. I can imagine it. But yeah, man, that's and again, this guy, no legal ramifications. The law. I mean, and that shocks me. Even after the fact, maybe you didn't get caught in the act, but you documented it. Doesn't the city of Hollywood or some sort of borough or some sort of legal jurisdiction want to find him and get a warrant out for his arrest? He's from Florida.
Have you seen Hollywood sans Beverly Hills anywhere on any picture in any newspaper or website or anything? Like, they pretty much let anybody shit anywhere now. People like are bathing in fountains all over California in the big cities. Look at, dude, I'm not kidding. There are tent cities everywhere. They have no rules at this. They can't. I don't think they could justify arresting this guy. If you're going to let homeless people shit on sidewalks, I don't think you can necessarily arrest a guy for shitting on a sign from a helicopter. And by the way, are there weird like maritime laws if you're in the air and you commit a crime? Is there different rules and regulations for like being off the ground
above 500 feet sea level?
In international airspace, you could probably get away with stuff like that, but this is definitely American airspace.
Right,
I think you're still beholden to laws.
This is the world of Jetpack Man, bro. They're still looking for him, not fucking Mike Busey, Gary's fucking intelligent cousin.
It's the intelligent one.
That's right.
But no, in all honesty, obviously this guy's just trying to funnel traffic to his website. He's got some other thing he wants to sell, whether it's art or thoughts or whatever. But to me, it's almost performance art. Like, he's got a purpose behind it. He put himself on the line for it. He accomplished the thing. It makes sense figuratively and literally that, Hollywood does tend to, I'll just say it like this, Hollywood does tend to shit on perspectives like my own. And so, but I mean, it's childish and stupid, but it worked. We're talking about him, and he's got several websites linking to his sites. I think
it's a stretch to even. What's one more than a stretch? It's a bit apples to pears to call what he did art. Okay, pooping on the Hollywood sign, but whatever. I'm not
performance art. Performance art.
Performance art. But by the way, here is Mr. Busey's website. Let's give it a gander. So it's got this running stream of things. Dudes whacking off, strippers. Looks like it's like some sort of club scene. Then you get members access.
There he is.
This is Mr. Busey himself with his pug and 4 asses behind him. Very, very sexual laden. There's a lot of members access.
What's going on? What's going on? The one on the left there. Go back up.
It looks to be fire breather, DJ, kind of burlesque.
That lady's getting banged.
That lady's getting banged.
Yeah, that lady's getting on top of that guy,
and she's using tugboat as a pedestal.
There's a porn website.
Fireworks. Look, that's Abdul the butcher behind him. I like the mask here. This is like insane clown posse here pulling the trigger. Meanwhile, there's a lot of attractive women. I'll give him that. I mean,
for him, yes, there's a lot of attractive women for him.
So far, they've looked like solid 6s.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's not bad. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, all right, we're gonna get banned from
this guy's
YouTube.
Renting Hollywood, like renting helicopters and shitting on Hollywood signs. You got to be like a stable of fucking 8s and 9s. I'm disappointed in him, quite frankly.
Okay,
look at him. For him, those are 10s. Those are 12s
Hold
for
on.
a guy like
Check
that.
this out.
It's a money thing too. You know?
I think we have our first escapade as the middle Classholes. This is his place. It's called the Sausage Castle, the wildest house in America. He's got an enchanted forest, gator hole, Freedom Field, the track, Adventureland, Lakefront Park, Animal Sanctuary, the castle, the Veterans Memorial Field, of course, because you have to
naturally,
and Hideaway Woods and the Warehouse District. And then
but
here we get we get a list of everything.
District only. I hope the Warehouse District is just fucking drug-fueled raves.
No, look, it says it right here. You have a performance stage, lighting, sound, wrestling ring, backstage production, green room, and a members' mess hall. Tell me what you want to hear about any of these facilities. I'll tell you what goes on in those.
I just want to know who's in the Veterans Memorial Field because I have a feeling like 30 of them are named Skeet.
Let's see here.
It's like his uncles and like
his homies. His dead homies.
Yeah.
Purple. That doesn't say.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, he didn't list the veterans. That's just there for so he doesn't get shut down by the government.
Got a beach.
I got
yeah, right.
Okay, look. Bottom line is, no matter what we think of this guy, he's living his dream. And if in America today you're allowed to live your truth, I guess you're allowed to live your dream. And God damn it, his dream looks pretty fucking vivid and pretty incredible.
Pretty right. I agree. Well, God bless Mike Busey. Hey, listen, man, if you're listening, the middle Classholes, we could pay a visit. We could vlog. I mean, I would say we could promote you, but I think you'd be promoting us. But hey, man, we'd like to see some of the things I saw on your website. And hell, I'll take a dump somewhere. I'll take a dump on some landmark. Alan, Murray, you guys in?
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I feel like we're gonna have to poop on like the Delaware War Memorial on a Vespa. That's all we can afford.
Vespa.
I think there's a market for it.
That's right. Get us a few hundred more followers.
We can send Alan down in North Carolina to poop on Madison Cawthorn's wheelchair.
Ooh.
Will do.
You're in on that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Question is, we got to find a period where somebody lifts him out of it. Because I want like, you ever seen that Chappelle episode where he does Diddy? And yeah. Diddy always had a great line where in one of those that I think people slept on. He was like, "Man, like to go to the movie theater, take a shit in a seat, stick around, wait for somebody to sit in it. Here it goes, squish. That's funny to me." And so yes, that's kind of the same thing. I want somebody to lift his ass up and then set his ass down on poop.
Maybe Mike Busey, Gary's cousin, will help us out with that.
He seems like a Cawthorn kind of guy, though. I don't think he'll help us out with that.
Fair enough. Moving on. Wedding photographer destroys photos over meal or lack thereof. So this guy, he's not a photographer by trade, but he does it as a hobby. He was asked by a couple to be the wedding photographer for their wedding. And then they basically deleted the couple's wedding pictures after reportedly refusing to let him eat. He told the groom that he needed to rest for 20 minutes and was later denied and told that either continue taking pictures or leave without being paid. There was also no open bar, which is fucking bullshit. And I mean, that might be worthy of deleting photos. But Alan, I think your words were, "I'm a petty motherfucker." And I would 100% delete photos if someone denied me a meal. Listen, I've done videography at probably 12 to 15 weddings. It's always been a big point for anyone who's running these. To say, like, listen, you're not going to eat in the where everyone else is eating, but here's where you guys are eating. You have a meal. Help yourselves. You can have as many drinks as you want. Doesn't matter. It's open bar. Always been gracious and kind. This sounds like bullshit. Now, I don't know if I would have deleted photos and things of that nature or video, knowing that there was some currency or some pay on the line. But your thoughts on this bold motherfucker?
Yeah, so I mean, I know about the story. The pay was only $250. They were like homies. So
yeah, that's bullshit.
I'm deleting all your shit. I might even smack you on your wedding day. Like, I'm talking like you, Wes. Like, if you I would do that shit to you. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
here's the thing, though. I wouldn't delete all the photos. I would just delete all the good ones. I'd find all the ones where the eye was looking a little wonky, little grainy, little blurry walking by. It's like, well, this is the best I can do for my $250 and no fucking meal. Enjoy your wedding photos, right. Asshole.
Or booze. Again, no open bar. They didn't say if it was a cash bar or not, which, I mean, I can kind of semi-put up with, but I don't know. I think the open bar thing is bullshit. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No, that's absolute ridiculous. Like you said, man. Like I know for a fact that like photographers, that was in our photographer's contract. He was like, I get a meal. I get what you're giving your guests.
Right.
Like that's more than reasonable. Yeah, it's more than reasonable.
Absolutely.
Dude, when we did radio events at like concerts and things, like we were considered staff. So like whatever they got, like whatever they were serving. The guys in the like the VIP room, like we had access to. It was just part of like it was unspoken. Like, hey, you want a rack of ribs? A whole rack? I don't need a whole rack, but I'll take a few. Like, all right, you can have a whole rack if you want. No, just stop. Thanks, I appreciate it. Take a couple ribs.
Yeah, and then like it wasn't the whole timing of it too. They were like, yeah, you can go fucking eat it in a dog bowl. Fucking. Like and you've got like 30 seconds. Figure it out. And like I know for a fact, like ours was timed. He ate while we ate because he doesn't need to get pictures of us eating.
Right.
Like that's the fucking logic behind it. And then when he's done eating, he comes out because we're done eating as we go fucking to our tables and say, "Welcome to our free party. Go drink more." You know what I mean? That's when he gets good pictures of like all of the guests and the bride and groom. There's a fucking method to this wedding madness, and these two cocksuckers were like, we're gonna get our friend who takes doggy portraits to fucking take our wedding photos for $2 not feed her. And she was like, oh, word, bye.
First of all, yeah, the friend, I've given the friends discount. I've been offered that, and I understand with it, $250. That's dog shit in terms of the going rate of what photographers or anyone who's like doing photography or videography at a wedding. That is a super hand-me-down friends, family, don't give a fuck. I know you're for life discount. I'm doing this as a hobby. Second of all, yeah, that person should have been like getting boozed up prior to that on the arm. And I don't know, man. He should have been able to like make out with a bridesmaid or something. This is like, this is crap. Yeah, fuck that. Now that I know the backstory, sure. Yeah, I mean,
our photographer was like,
I would have hired a helicopter. I would have gotten a helicopter and pooped on the bride and groom as they were leaving for their wedding.
I mean, if I couldn't afford it, at the very least, I'd like poop on my drone and then like carry it over and just tip it on them. There you go, bitches. Enjoy. You know, like, oh god, yeah, no, it's so insulting. Like you said, it's like it's the opposite of how you treat your photographer on that particular occasion, and it's insane.
Yeah, it's just the problem is that people like this asshole groom, they just assume like, well, I've taken pictures before, so taking pictures ain't no big deal. So I need all the pictures I can get. So just keep taking them. Like, I've had people ask me to edit audio for them. Yeah, it's easy for me, but it's a skill you don't have.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, so like, you kind of owe me for my lifetime's worth of experience that I've gained over fucking like working overnights at a radio station from midnight to 6 a.m. and then being asked to like edit 4 hours of audio down to like, a half an hour's worth of usable bullshit. That you owe me for that.
Right.
Yeah. People don't get it.
You owe me for my experience, motherfucker, not the time. Yeah, I learned how to do this for 30 minutes. That's like our photographer was like, hey guys, apologies, you haven't gotten some stuff yet, but between the both of us, we took like 7,000 pictures. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, that's a thing you can do? And he was like, yeah, so, we got to go through them. And I was like, fuck, take your time, bro. I would blow my brains out.
Yeah.
So, it was like, I don't even care about these people. So why would I'm looking at their wedding photos?
14,000 photos over the course of 5 hours. That's pretty much like a what are those, like flip books?
Yeah, flip book. Yeah, I was gonna say like a stop. It's like Alan's wedding in stop motion. Why didn't you just take
video?
Yeah, and then screenshot like some good spots.
Yeah, it's like, oh, all right.
Christ. So last last thing before we get to Fun Fact Friday, man arrested for uncensoring Japanese porn with AI. This is good stuff. This came out. Was this on the official Middle Classholes page, or did you just post it to us? No.
I think I just sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, this probably would have been better than the guy peeing in traffic.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Now, I mean, they're both are good. So this guy managed to uncensor the pixelation, right? That's what I gathered.
Yes.
And then his name. One of the things I liked is that they did a yen translation. He had he was getting bail for 9 million yen. It's 90. No, he was making. Sorry, for his efforts, he was making 9 million yen. It's $93,000 a year for his efforts of unpixelating stuff.
It's still a good paycheck, but yeah, it pales in comparison to what we would think.
9 million yen, fuck. Yeah. So this guy comes out and then figures out what all of our childhood dreams, especially if you grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, unpixelating things. God, that would be great to see behind that. He's able to do it. Gets arrested. Your thoughts on this man who should be nominated for some sort of prize?
Alan, do you want to start? Because I got a lot of thoughts.
He's doing
on
God's work.
Yeah.
He's I mean, if he was American, call him a patriot. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a Japanese man might call him a patriot. If other countries call people patriots. But yeah, I think he's like I said, this is a man amongst men, you know?
Yeah, there's a rule in Japan that pornography is not illegal as long as it's pixelated. So there's really no true Japanese art form of pornography that doesn't have the pixelation. So it's almost like there's 20, 30 years, maybe more, worth of homegrown, real Japanese pornography that is really unviewable in my opinion. Compared, you get, and it's almost like the forbidden fruit. It's almost like if you go to
hold on. So the Japanese can't. So someone in Japan can't go, and I'm assuming the keyboards are the same. www.pornhub.com and look at what I see.
If it's made in Japan, if it's produced by a legitimate Japanese pornography production company, then the master footage must be pixelated. Okay. So anything that you're seeing that's not pixelated is just some two foreign fuckers fucking, and it's probably that guy who does the casting couch videos apartment, and it's done in America, and she just happens to be Asian and speaks with a perfect American accent.
Gotcha.
But if you want the real deal, it is unavailable to you until now. And so this guy he's deciphered the pornographic Dead Sea Scroll is what he's done. And yeah, you're right. He deserves some sort of award. He's almost like it's. I just can't wrap my head around it that he's gonna have to go to trial and face probably prison time. And by the way, the pixelation on those things, it's real lax. It's a real fat pixelation, but it's just enough to be God, I wish. Where's the HD on this? I feel like I'm watching this on a 120 pixelated TV. You know,
Sure.
It's just, and it's right in the moneymaker area too. Mm-hmm. This guy's a hero. I'm hoping I can see some more of his work because I haven't seen any of it. But yeah, man, I want some real Japanese porn. That's all I want. Just want some life.
Like you, Mer, I don't. When I am on the P Hub and I come across some pixelated Jap porn, I immediately skip over it because it's not appealing to me. But I always thought it was just they couldn't show cum shots or they could. But apparently it's whole genitalia. That's what I've learned.
Yes.
So they can't show penises, can't show vaginas. Can they show boobies?
Yeah, they showed tits. They showed lots of tits, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I guess.
But see, like
I grew out of Skinamax a long time ago.
Yeah, but see, like that's what I mean. It's just like you said, it kind of ruins the art form. How you blur out the penis without blurring out the face? You know, it's rough.
Yeah.
I like to point out that in this episode, we have distinguished or have labeled someone pooping on the Hollywood sign art, and then pixelation porn or lack thereof as art as well. That's it. I mean, no, it is what it is.
All art.
Art is in the eye of the beholder. So yeah, and then I don't remember. Did you ever deal with like scrambled porn?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's not a thing anymore.
I don't want to mention names, but I can remember being at like friends' houses and like, yeah. I mean, how weird is that? Even thinking back on this, like you're sitting in a basement with like a buddy and just like looking for a titty and and what were they using to like warble that shit out? Like today, I mean, just even the technology to scramble stuff is like light years above what it was back then. It was probably just some guy with a knob like, hey, if they ain't got no subscription, turn it all the way to the right. You know, like
yeah.
There's a bunch of wavy lines, and every now and again, the stars would align, and it would be like, ooh, and gone. Just looking for a nipple, man. That's all you're looking for. That's all it took.
Woo! All right. Well, in that case, we will put that to bed, and we will move on to the closing segment of the middle class.
They have panties inside of vending machines.
They do. That shit's wild, bro.
So you can buy a young girl's used panties and sniff them on the train on your way to the job you want to jump out the window to be caught in the net in. But you can't watch unscrambled porn.
Like, legitimately, that shit's wild. We should talk about that some other time.
I think the radiation's pixelated their brains.
Not even from us. They re-radiated themselves the second time. So...
Talking about the
and
tsunami?
with that,
the tsunami?
Yeah. Well, I mean, God re-radiated them, but either way. It wasn't our fault this time.
All right, yeah.
Let's get to it, my friends. Let's get you 5 fun facts for your Friday. It's time for Fun Fact Friday, being brought to you, of course, by the Shin Splints Recovery Group. If you have some pain below your knee and above your ankle and you're wondering exactly how to get rid of that pain, head on over to the idiotic, moronic, fake Facebook group, Shin Splints Recovery. I saw a lot of pressing questions on the Shin Splints because I do check it at least once a week. Usually it's like, hey, I've been running 26 miles a week on my treadmill and I've got shin splints. What do I do? And usually the best response is rest. But no one does that. So if you'd like to learn some other techniques, head on over to the Shin Splints Recovery Group on Facebook. So let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know you can win an argument by using quote-unquote extreme agreement? Instead of asking a political radical why they want a specific change, ask them how they plan on making that change. Once they realize they've suggested something too extreme to accomplish, their views will soften. Doesn't mean they'll be resolved, but it means they'll be more willing to listen to reason.
I didn't know that was in fact, but I've used that before. I have used that technique to say, like, okay, you give me the compromise. You tell me what's going to make you happy. You give me the end game. And then, yeah, it has resulted in more of like a, I didn't think about that.
Well, the only problem with your strategy, Wes, is
Good.
The problem with your strategy, Wes, is what I like to call, what's the word? Tone. See, you tend to say the right words, but in the wrong inflection of the voice.
The fuck are you talking about? Huh?
Well, what would you do?
I do that from time to time.
No way, Alan.
Just
I've never sat across from that before, ever.
To you.
So hit them with extremism and
no, not extremism. No,
okay.
That's the wrong ism.
Make them put their compromise or make them put their decision out in like, how do you fix your, okay, They present you with a problem. They say this is or they complain about it. You tell them, how do you fix it? Give us your compromise. Give us your resolution to the conflict. Then they realize, okay, wow, this is bullshit. I need to dial it back a few bits.
Well, Alan, you know where we stand. Why don't you present me with I know you'd love to rattle around inside this brain of mine. So let's solve a political issue.
Oh man, what's a good one right now? What are you guys griping about? I think it's the border. It's either the border right now or like vaccine mandate and cops and like military, because you guys are really fucking up in arms about that too.
Okay, well, I like border. We can agree on border. Go ahead, ask me a border question.
How do we fix the tidal wave of immigrants coming in through our southern border?
Well, I mean, prosperity in America is obviously something that everybody looks forward to. Would you agree that, I don't know, we should maybe save some prosperity for the Americans who've been fighting for it here in this country before we give it to everyone else who just kind of is, I don't know, I don't want to say steal it, but, not necessarily entitled to it as much as the people who've been working in the system inside the states? How would you solve this crisis, since there's a lot of people on welfare in this country that are losing their welfare status to people who've never been in this country?
And as a semi-arbitrator, I also wouldn't want to tie in white Anglo-Saxon and stealing. I wouldn't want to. It's mutually exclusive, nothing to do with each other. Just so you know.
So I can't talk about how the whites stole, but the browns are re-stealing? Okay. That's fine. I was gonna go. So, Murr, I think what we really should do, and I do agree. We have to do this legally. We have to do this correctly. We've got to take priority for those American citizens.
He's
who
doing
are
it to
here.
me now.
I'd posit. Why don't both of us, both sides, take this to our congressmen, to our representatives on Capitol Hill, and say maybe we need to reform the immigration system so that these people coming over seeking asylum could possibly find a road to citizenship in a legal and timely fashion.
And I 100% agree with you. And I feel like the only way to put people in the queue, if you will, the line to get in, is to build a wall to keep them out and regulate it until such a time is appropriate to see them in a functional court of law or a system of governance that allows them to state their case.
I could see that that's good. I think a physical barrier is good. I think it makes sense logically. I just ask, how do you propose that we build something so large and that will actually work? I think we've seen a couple iterations that have not worked. And, where's the funding for that? Yeah.
Well, as much as I do agree with your sentiment there, if you've ever seen a redneck motivated to do anything,
just throw a few crisis actors in the middle of them. Tell them they won't build the fucking wall.
Tell you what, though, have you seen a Mexican motivated?
All right, so we throw a few crisis actors on both sides of the fucking river.
I think what you just saw there, Wes, was two people who are probably really fucking good at this, and just there was never going to be a break because we could both keep going forever.
I saw diplomacy. I don't know if collar me crazy, but
there's no red or blue here. It's just purple.
We are collared blind.
Terrible.
Did you know scientists have discovered that music evolves like a living organism? Studies found that music trends go through periods of stasis followed by rapid change, like an evolving genetic sequence. Music trends are made by removing or replacing specific chords, just like genes recombine and mutate. Each decade has produced drastically different music, except for the 80s, when everything sounded the same, until rap and hip-hop started a major revolution. So white folk ran out of gas at about 84.
So my childhood was the end of it.
What happened was, white folks stole rock and roll and jazz and blues, and then rode that as long as they possibly could, and then were like, synthesizers, that's the fucking ticket. And then black people were like, or brown people were like, hey guys, sorry, we got you. Here's a new form of stuff.
No,
bastardized. Go ahead.
But check this out though. Actually, rap and hip hop then said, hey, remember all that shit you stole from us? Yeah. Well, now we're gonna steal it back. We're gonna loop it, and we're gonna fucking do new lyrics over it that are good.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's that's totally makes sense, because I mean, if you listen, I mean, I'm a big music fan. I know, Wes, I know you are. I believe you as well. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm sure you could listen to different periods and genres, and even like 5 to 10 year snippets, and you can hear the influence from the 5 to 10 years before it kind of moving on and evolving.
Well, I heard Jacob Dylan. I heard him on the Joe Rogan Experience. Have you guys heard of that show? It's a great podcast. I listen to it a lot, actually.
Sounds like a guy that does DMT, though.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the mechanic from News Radio? Yeah,
that's him. Yeah. Yep.
The host of Fear Factor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he experiments with different veterinary medications every now and again. It's a wild guy. Anyway, no, he had Jacob Dylan on, Bob Dylan's son, Wallflowers lead singer, and they were discussing it, and he was like, you ever think about how great music was, like in the 50s, 60s, and then in the 70s it starts to get a little weird? And he was just kind of talking about how, like, they were all pioneers. No one had ever done it before. So everybody that came after them was emulating what they heard before that. Like, they were influenced by the people that came before them. So by the time he gets to the 80s, like, all the, like, Renaissance influencers were, like, almost like, it was stretched so thin, the amount of influence that they had stolen from those guys. And so the music just, it started out great, from Little Richard all the way up through the Rolling Stones to Led Zeppelin, and then it just turned to shit. And then you've got, like, maybe like Van Halen, who to me is a great modern rock band, but still, in comparison, I feel like that's where the graph starts to slide downhill.
Van Halen, not Hagar.
Pre-Hagar. Yeah, I didn't know that, but I did hear this past week. They said psychologically you pretty much get done, or you're not done, but you become somewhat less enamored with music by the time you are 30. Everything after that, you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm done with that. This new shit I can't deal with.
Well, I feel like it's okay. Who did I hear? David Duchovny, of all people, I heard talking about this. And he was talking about how, like, when he was in his heyday, like, Journey was out. And Journey was a joke. Bon Jovi was a joke. But those songs were out at the time where you were having the greatest time of your life. So even if you hated that band at the time, right, it becomes imprinted on you as a part of your, like, soundtrack to your life. So then 20, 30 years later, you hear that song, you don't shit on it anymore because you remember being at the bar with your friends. You know what I mean? Like, right. Yeah. So it's just youthful nostalgia.
I don't think my point didn't necessarily have to do with, like, formative years and what you were talking about. It's basically like you become less enamored with music by the time you hit 30, new stuff that, like, comes out after you're 30 years old. Now, I know that I mean, there have been some things, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, I mean, I kind of pretty much, 90% of the music I listen to stuff before 30. Now, I don't know if this is true. It was just some friends and I shooting the shit over a couple brown bag tall boys. So,
well, I don't seek out the new music, but when I do hear it, I try to like it. I try to find the value in it. Mm-hmm. Like my love affair with like Lady Gaga that sprung up in the last decade or so. Boy bands. I started, like, what's the one with Harry Styles? What was that?
I think that's One Direction.
Yeah.
Okay. No, is it?
I think that's who he was in.
Okay, well, those guys, right? They have that song, like, the story of my life.
Yeah, that's definitely One Direction. Yeah.
That's a good fucking song.
Yeah.
That's a good song. I can see why teenage girls would just swoon over every one of those dudes. And I'm like, that's a good fucking song. So rather than be in that teenage mind, like, hey, fuck those guys, getting all the pussy that I'll never have, I'm more like, I can understand why a record producer would get a raging solid gold hard-on, because these guys are producing generational wealth.
First of all, it's a platinum hard-on. All right, just let's clear the air here.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, I feel you. That's the scumbag who made like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and all them. That guy. I mean, he knew what he had in his hand. You know what I mean?
Platinum hard-on, platinum 7 inches.
Yes, multiple platinum hard-ons, bud.
But also, Justin Bieber, I'm actually glad to hear some of his new stuff's actually like really good pop music. It's not my cup of tea, but they're good songs. I don't like mumble rap, but Post Malone is a fucking incredible artist. That what's it? Circles or Echoes or whatever.
Circle Echoes. You know, yeah, gotcha. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Alan probably know better than I.
I don't know of something by Post Malone by that. I know, yeah, Circles, I think of somebody else, but maybe. I don't know.
Either way, it's a great fucking tune, and I guess the older you get, I guess maybe you put your, that curmudgeon-y, like, I don't know, fuck these guys attitude to the side, and you're able to kind of appreciate the art and maybe understand.
I don't think we're as bad as our parents, you know what I mean?
It's a good point.
Like,
yeah.
Our parents were like, ugh. Like, fucking, what is this garbage? And we're like, I mean, I can hear some of that. I can hear some, you know.
Compared,
in my, I can hear some T-Pain.
Yeah.
2003. Like,
but then you're comparing what they heard, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, just all the way through. Like, yeah, right. They had a point.
I think my dad once
think back to your life. Hold on. Think back to your life. We've been around for some pretty legendary musicians that were in our time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think it's all ebbs and flows, but I think we're just more tolerant of it.
I think my dad and
music styles have melded more too. Sorry.
No, you're good. My dad thought the Funky Cole Medina music video was funny. He was like, "Yeah, that's good stuff. That's entertainment right there."
What was your dad's favorite modern band that we would consider modern?
Like rock? I mean, he didn't like rap music.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not a rap guy, but yeah, what was his favorite modern musical act?
God, I don't know. I mean, he found Oasis listenable. I mean, but he stuck true to his colors, man. He was Dylan and the Beatles and Willie Nelson, and
that's crazy. Like my dad was like that too. Like that's the same music. He tells a famous story about how his sister got him in trouble and he got punished and couldn't go to see the Beatles at the Civic Center. That's when Rural Farms was called the Civic Center. Yeah, right. It's a good story, except heartbreaking. And you could hear the resentment in his voice. But then as later on in my teenage years, my man was like he loved him some Backstreet Boys, and I was like, all right, dog, I see you. But then he was like, Creed's my shit. And I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if we're there. I don't know if we see eye to eye on this one.
Right. That's what my dad actually said. He went down to the Civic Center with his buddy Everett, who Murs met. They smoked a fair amount of hashish on the way to see Bonnie Raitt, and then got split up. It's like in the mid 70s. He was like, I didn't think I was ever going to find him. God, I walked everywhere in that fucking place, up and down, side to side, and finally I was like, fuck it, I'm going to watch Bonnie Raitt perform. They ended up crossing paths somewhere on Lombard Street and got back home. But I thought that was good. Yeah, I was like, damn, you guys, where'd you guys score hash? He's like, I don't know. Who the hell knows? It was the 70s, man.
For the Bonnie Raitt concert.
Oh, man. Did you know? In 1915, a millionaire named Cecil Chubb bought Stonehenge as a present for his wife, but she didn't like it. He kept it for 3 years, but felt it belonged to the nation, so he gave it to the country on the conditions that the entrance fee would cost never more than $1, and that local residents had free access. What is Alan? You're better at these look up things than I am. What is the going rate of a shilling in the year 2021?
9 million yen, I think.
The shilling was a coin worth 1/20th of a pound sterling, is technical definition, or 12 pence, so 12 cents. 12 English cents.
Okay.
Do they even like charge admission? I mean, like you got 12. You got 12.
Everybody's got coins. Coin currency in England's wild. Like you can have $50 and it's just coins.
Right.
It's the strangest fucking thing. So yes, probably.
But at 12 cents, like if you were like you and the family were coming through, and it's like if you and a family of 4, and it's still under $1. Like, are you really? Is it even worth like having is it worth hiring a guy for $18 an hour to charge people $1 to look at it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so like you should backtrack. You should backtrack because I like the fact that he bought that for millions of dollars in like what did you say 1915, and his wife was like, "I don't like it." And he was like, "Damn, this bitch."
Like you don't like these fucking rocks that were arranged by aliens, you stupid bitch. I'm never buying you anything again.
I know, and I'm not trying to be purposefully like dickish towards women, but the things that men are amazed by that just fly over the head of the female counterpart. Like we look at Stonehenge and we know how heavy rocks are, and we're like, how the fuck did that happen? Like there weren't cranes. No one knows how this thing was built, and he buys it. It's one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah.
And like Wes said, now like it. You don't have to like it.
Lady friend, I have a surprise for you. Take a peek at this. What the fuck is that? That's Stonehenge. I don't fucking want it.
Look, you try to explain it to him. It's like, you know how big that rock is? 475 tons. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah. And it's like 1 million years old. She's like, so what? I'm like, fuck you!
That makes me angry. But you know what? I mean, I guess he gave, what is it, Scotland gave him a good deal. That's almost like, do you know the deal with Guinness? Like their brewery deal? It was like they own all the land for like 999 years. So they got like a 1,000-year lease for like $100 a year or something like that.
Jesus, that's beautiful.
1,000-year lease? It's but it's in the floor. Like when you walk into the Guinness storehouse, the actual lease is like encased in like a hermetic seal and like right in the center of the floor.
And is it with
the Scottish you don't government? Lose that shit.
Is it with the Scottish government?
No, wait, what? No, this is Ireland.
Ireland, sorry, my bad. This is the Irish government.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. And then like right the spot where you stand, like where the lease actually is in the ground, like. The building is the shape of a Guinness pint, like above it.
Gotcha.
And it's like 4 or 5 floors. It's crazy. It's wild. That place is insane.
Yeah, that I think that's a bucket list to have a Guinness over the Guinness lease.
Yeah.
Well, there's like a skybox thing. Well, not a skybox thing, but I don't know what they would call it. But like at the end of the tour, you end up, I don't know, 10 floors up, and it's like 360 glass view of the city of Dublin, and they just pour you pints for free.
That's awesome. Yeah, I watched Conan do one of his like Conan like on his travels thing, and he kept fucking up pouring the Guinness just so he could keep drinking Guinness.
Stuff with him are probably like, God, this fucking. I mean, I know he's fucking Conan O'Brien, but like, man, this guy's annoying sometimes. I don't feel, but like, I feel like on those remotes, these people are just like, you fucking dick,
wanker.
Yeah.
Did you know when male and female anglerfish mate, they melt into each other and share bodies forever? The deep sea is so vast that if a male finds a female, he latches on and fuses to her, losing his eyes and internal organs until the two fish share a bloodstream, which makes every woman go, oh,
Jesus,
and every guy go, what the fuck is wrong with nature?
I was gonna say the guy who bought his wife the Stonehenge got it off easy. She just didn't like Stonehenge. This guy had to fucking melt into this woman when he made love to her. The anglerfish is that's the one that has the droopy front that dangles and lights up in order to attract other fish.
Yes,
right.
I believe so.
And then they haven't evolved since then. It still melts in. They just can't do the hit it and quit it and get away and go their separate ways. Yeah.
The thing is that they've never moved further closer to the sun. They're just like, nope, we're gonna hang down here in pure darkness.
Right.
So that requires them to melt into their female partner, because if they find one, it's just luck of the draw, and they'll never find one again.
Yeah.
Could just go towards the light and be like, fuck, I'm not feeling that one. Let me move on to the next one. Yeah. But yeah, it's not the way nature works. Also, I'm pretty sure I learned that from like a Nat Geo or something. There's a video. There's 100% a video of like the first ever video of them mating.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It just comes back to like, we have a very jaded version of what life is.
Right.
Like it like the classic Jurassic Park, it finds a way, you know? And this is a very, very just bleak finding a way.
Maybe we're looking at it from way too of a human perspective. Maybe this is like the best ejaculate we can ever think of. Maybe the fucking neurons are firing on all fucking cylinders as he melts into this woman. Like, oh! And there's like all the drugs in his fucking brain and serotonin just go through the roof.
I will take my 100,000 at a 10th% versus his one at 100,000%.
I like to think when he melts in, the light goes out too. The little dangle like gone.
Oh, no, that's poetic.
No, I think hers gets brighter.
Yeah, because she steals the light from his fucking existence, just like every goddamned woman that's ever fucking walked the face of the earth.
So we do know that it remains a woman. The man, like, his existence ceases to exist, and it's still the woman.
Absolutely, because ain't no female desperate enough to have babies to be the one to do that shit.
Yeah.
Well, that and Wes, you're not a married man yet, so once that happens and that's an official thing, like, your masculinity drops by 10% the second you say I do, and exponentially from that point moving forward. So It really just kind of is
it's like that's the first time. Like a week after you get married, it'll be the first time like she bucks at you and fucking calls you a bitch, and you're like, "Fuck!" And you can't. There's any shit you can do about it. That's it.
And then you realize that she was right.
I want to say when that happens, I'm gonna be like, "You ain't no anglerfish. Don't talk to me like that. Fuck you." She won't know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And then you will melt into her. She'll melt you into her.
Only if you're lucky. And finally, did you know if you were drafted during the American Civil War, you could legally pay someone else $300 to go in your place?
Doesn't shock me. The people are paying $300 to have fake vaccine cards. In primitive times, to 215 or 250-ish years ago, that people are... like, hey, you want to be Mike Smith, rifleman for the 7th Cavalry? Here's some loot. Get on out there. Go get gangrene, buddy. Take one for the team.
That wasn't even like that, bro. You didn't even have to pay somebody else to do it. You could just pay the government and be like, no, I'm not.
Is that what you're saying? Just pay to not participate in the war?
I don't know if that, me and my facts, I don't do a lot of research on them, but I'm also wondering if that's $300 in today's money or $300 in yesteryear's money. Because if it's $300 in yesteryear's money,
That's why only super rich folk did it.
That's a gajillion yen.
You were healthy and were among those called. You had several options by federal law: pay a substitute to take your place, or pay a commutation fee of $300, enabling you to avoid service.
Oh, so you could knowingly have a substitute come in. Like, yeah, listen, I don't want to do it, so this feller is going to fight for me. Like, okay, no worries. Appreciate it's a 1-for-1 deal. We just need bodies. Wow.
Hey, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was like a regiment of black guys who were basically all like
millionaires.
They were like house servants in northern states, and their rich children or their rich owners' children, or not owners' children, but indentured servant children. You know what I mean? We're like, yeah. So you're Tyrone. Go ahead. Bill's not going. We don't want him to go.
That's not what Glory was made about, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
God, damn, that was a good scene in Glory.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington earned that career in that movie. Jesus, God.
Best supporting actor.
I watched Book of Eli the other day. Fantastic movie.
It was a good movie. It was a good flick. And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday. But before we wrap up Fun Fact Friday, I do want to bring up the fun fact that we posted on the official Middle Classholes Facebook page. And it basically reads as such. And, we used to be notorious for our animal fights segment that we did here in lieu of Fun Fact Friday. And I am really trying to stretch this out because my Facebook is not uploading at the moment. But I believe that it was that 37 to 40 million years ago, prehistoric penguins once stood at 6 feet tall and 250 pounds. Now, obviously things that were around that long ago were bigger than they are today. But I did an extra little dive on penguins because birds have hollow bones, right? So they would be an easier fight if they had hollow bones. Flightless birds do not have hollow bones, which means their bodies are as dense as ours. So, a 250-pound, 6-foot penguin, how many people would that thing fuck up before the penguin met its maker?
Jesus Christ.
A lot. I mean, I think this goes back to we had the like, what didn't we have like a bear-sized duck or like a bunch of like bears?
Dude, we had so this is back in 3 and Out, and we had so many fucking animal fights. Or how many men does it take to like slap down a
I think it goes back to that one, and I kind of stand by like the bear-sized duck. There's a kill shot. That thing could just snap you like in the head at that size. And I think the same thing goes for the penguin. But also, I think penguins are fin slappers by nature. And like a 6 foot, 250-pound fin slaps fucking sending an average male human flying.
I was going to say,
like 20 yards.
That size of penguin is going to give a fucking silverback a run for its money. Now, I think the silverback is like much more agile and aggressive, but dude, a silverback gorilla is going to fuck up 20 men.
Okay,
probably
all right.
30.
So how many 6 foot, 250-pound penguins can a silverback gorilla modern era handle?
Let's see. Well, this is hypothetical. I don't know. I mean, 5. We'll throw the benchmark at 5.
Okay.
So, 1 point. I don't know what meters are. Get the fuck out of here with that Wikipedia. Hold on, I'm trying to give you some numbers.
Translate it to yen. That'll make more sense.
Meters.
Legitimately
America.
Sense.
So, anywhere between like 5.5 to 6 feet is the average fucking average silverback gorilla, weighing between 100 and 270 kilograms. Again, don't know what the fuck that means.
That's 375 to 500.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's almost double in weight and the same size. It's the same height.
Right.
I just want to let people know that prehistoric penguins were Tim Tebow's. They were Tim Tebow's coming at you, fucking full bore with a dumb animal brain that says kill, eat. That's it.
You say it like that, it sounds less menacing.
Really?
You know my thoughts on Tim Tebow, so you kind of shot like I was with you. I was like, man, formidable penguin bird.
He's probably
and then you were like, it's a Tim Tebow. Yeah. It's just going to pray real quick. I'll just kick it in the nuts.
All right, Rob Gronkowski. Jesus Christ, how many beers do I need to say his name? Rob Gronkowski size penguins.
He's not the same size as Tim Tebow. Goddamn.
He's probably thinking Danny DeVito from Batman 2. That's probably more.
I got that. I'll beat the brakes off that motherfucker. I mean, I love Danny DeVito, but I fuck him up.
And that, my friends, is Fun Fact Friday.
All right, well, I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in to the Middle Class Holes. Alan, tell all those ass-clats and everyone, all these 6 foot, 200-pound penguin Tim Tebows where they can find us.
Well, you can find not me on Twitter. On Twitter and Instagram at MDL Classholes. We're on Facebook, of course. We're just the Middle Classholes on that platform for you. On the Zuck Book. And then for your listening pleasure, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. That's right. And as always, please email us because we love getting emails. It feels like regular mail now because it's 2021. At tickleourtummies@gmail.com. That's plural. Tickleourtummies@gmail.com.
That's right. And hey, Mike Busey, listen, man, the Middle Class Holes want a first class ticket plane to your facility. We want to check it out. We want to vlog the shit out of that. So if you're listening, we want in. All right. And hey, listen, folks, before we sign off, as always, if you get caught manufacturing, purchasing, or whatever, a fake vaccination card, I hope you and your wife smash into something, whether it be a vehicle or a bicycle, and your penises and vaginas get severed. That way you can't reproduce anymore.
The long way.
The long way. And they can't do anything with them. You have to live with that for the rest of your life. Good night, folks. Have a good one.